friends, foes, and other watchers on the internet. My name is Matt, and you're watching Hogwash Gaming. And today I'm not going to show you how to play a game, but I am going to discuss a major component of many games. These are dice. And I'm missing some. Alright, so when you start thinking about dice, what you usually think of is these cubes. And those are your more common dice. They are used for board games, for gambling games, for just a random factor in card games sometimes. And usually you don't have more than 2 of these dice, on average. But some games, like Warhammer, require you to have at least 20 dice. And in my collection I have cubic ones with pips, or dots, and ones with digits, for those who find it hard to count. So let me get rid of all of the normal dice that I have. Alright, so you can see half, if not more, of my dice are cubes. And you may be wondering, why do you have so many of these? Well, in some games, like Risk or Warhammer, you have to roll dice at the same time, and different dice mean different things. For instance, in Risk, you usually have 3 attack die and 2 defending die. So if they all were white, then you couldn't tell them apart if they got jumbled together on the table. So you have different colors. And the same thing with Warhammer. If you have an army of orcs, okay, and these are all their attacks, but you have one general, the general has to have something to define who he is. So let's throw in 2 green ones. There we go. So all the whites are for the normal soldiers, and the 2 different colors are for the general's attacks. It's just easier to keep track of things that way. Plus, another reason that is less scientific is the fact that sometimes I don't play games that this really makes me think of the game. Like, let's say I was going to play Star Trek the RPG. These have more of a technical look to them. They have a nice science fiction look to them. They're black and they have bright colors coming off of them. It's a little better than this. I mean, if this is all you have, yeah, you can make it work. And I just dropped one on the floor. There we go. But, you know, aesthetics. Not to mention, if you're playing with multiple people, you might want different colored dice just to be able to tell whose is whose. Alright, I see you getting bored, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Alright. These are called D4s, and they are triangle shaped. Now you might be thinking, D4? What is that? Some sort of, like, code or something? It's quite simple. It has 4 sides. D4. So these are D6s. These may seem a little odd to you, but they come in handy when you're playing things like role-playing games, where you have a weapon that has a very small ability. Like, say your character was wielding a knife. You wouldn't want him to be able to hit you for 6 points. I mean, that's a little powerful for a knife. There might be some modifiers if he was an expert, but still, it's just a knife. If you're going up against a tank with a knife, you're not going to hit it for very much. So that's what these are for. And another thing that might be confusing about them is how to read them, because they don't have a top like these other dice. So what you do is they usually have a number on the top, but sometimes they have one on the bottom. Whichever number is right side up is the one you roll. Okay, moving on. These aren't super interesting, so I'm gonna keep on going. How about these? These are octahedrons. I have 4 of them. Okay, so these are D8s. These are the ones that you'd use in RPGs when it came to larger weapons like a battle axe or something like that. If you have a weapon that deals 4 D8s of damage, you can get a pretty high result. 8 times 4, that's 32 points of damage. And I know I'm talking a lot about role-playing games, but that's what most of these are for. You don't often see a D8 in a normal game, and I'm trying to remember one that you do. So we'll move on. D12s. How funny they are. I have never used one of these in a game. I'm not sure their purpose. I haven't come across a game that has them that they are used regularly. But if you have something that needs to be divisible by 6, 4, 3, 2, or 1, or 12, maybe. I don't know their purpose. And maybe you just need something to get you above 10. Like deciding 12 is an automatic win and 1 is an automatic lose. That could be something that you could do. But since I don't know what these are used for usually, I'm going to move on. Alright, here's some good ones. D10s. Now D10s are very, very useful for a multitude of reasons. First off, they go up to 10, so if you're playing a game like Munchkin, then you've got these really useful things to keep track of your levels. Another thing is some of them have 2-digit numbers on them. Basically, it's increments of 10, all the way up to 100. Now why is that useful? Because I can put it with one with single digits, we can roll and find percentages. How damaged is my ship? Okay, 30 and 8, so it's 38. 38% damage. It's not very high. Anyway, very useful. I've used them for games that just needed something other than 20s, which I'm getting to. But if you have something that's divisible by 10, this is very useful in getting you a random number between 1 and 10. Moving on to D20. These are very nice, and they usually are in the RPG world. However, as this one portrays, you can also find them in the game's categories. This one has letters on it and stars when you don't know what letter you want. So yeah, you can make up your own letters there. But yes, usually RPGs use D20s, and 20 is an automatic success and 1 is an automatic failure. I find this a little odd because sometimes you just flop in a roll and your character doesn't do what he would naturally do. But that's the point of role-playing. You'll just have to invest in a lucky trait next time you level up. Oh yes, and there's also one more dice that I haven't brought up, but I think you know about it. It starts every football game, and you used to be able to make phone calls with them. Yeah, coins. Flip a coin, that's a D2. Though, technically it is possible to land it on its edge, and that is very odd, but very rare at the same time, so in most circumstances, it's a D2. So I hope that cleared up things for those who aren't really used to seeing this much dice in one person's possession. I'm not a hoarder when it comes to getting dice, I just like to have a variety for different purposes. And it really bothers me that I'm missing some. I'm going to have to look around for them. But until I find them, this is Hogwash. Over and out.